So, my name is Ebony Archie Quintana. I am a victim advocate, also hotline specialist for the Lifelink, and I am also a survivor of human trafficking. I was trafficked at the age of 18 over the internet. I was brought here to New Mexico, and that is how I came into the Lifelink. I actually started in the human trafficking program, and that was back in 2010. Um, it's been a very, very long journey. Um, it took me, honestly, the first 2 years I was here was from 2010 to 2012, and during that time, it was hard trying to figure out where I was and if I should stay here, even though my case wasn't over with. But I was here alone, so I was really afraid. So in 2012, I actually left and went back to North Carolina, and I ended up being trafficked again in 2014 in North Carolina. And so from 2014 until 2015, I was trafficked, and I ended up pregnant and losing my baby. So in 2016, I kind of went on this hiatus of doing drugs. And then I called Lynn in May of 2016, and I just told her, like, I was tired. I was tired because the person I was dating at the time was also trafficking me so we could have a place to stay. So I told her I was tired and I was ready to come back to the program and actually engage in the program. And I was just ready to change my life. So I came back in May of 2016. The first few months weren't so good. I had an abusive relationship that I was in. And so the program was like, they pretty much didn't want me in it because I was not willing to give up the life that I was living. So I came to Albuquerque. And once I got to Albuquerque, the person that I was dating ended up stealing everything from me and left. And that's when I got introduced with HopeWorks. And HopeWorks actually were the ones that got me in the apartment I'm in today, where I have been living for 4 years in March. So I have been in a stable home for 4 years now. I have been clean for 3 years now of every substance. So it was a long journey to get to this point. And I've been working with the human trafficking program for a year, and well, a year and a half now, actually. So it's been a long journey. It's been a lot of ups and downs, like trying to figure out who I was, trying to figure out where I belong, and then me not being from here, like this little Black Southern girl all the way in New Mexico by herself with no family, was trying to figure out, like, who could I actually trust out here? And coming from an abusive family, it was hard to even trust my family because I knew I couldn't go back home at that point. So it just took me a lot of courage and a lot of me just telling myself, like, I can make it and I don't have to keep going through this. I'm stronger than this, and there's always a way out. And once I figured that out, I started doing conferences in 2018 where I was on the panel to speak and just open up about what it's like to be a survivor of trafficking. Because many people don't know what it is like. Even after you get out of the trafficking, it's still hard because there are times where you don't have things and you feel like maybe I should go back to this because at least while this was happening, I was taken care of. There's times where, your body isn't the same anymore. So like I said, like I've lost a child. I've actually lost two children at this point. I just lost a baby in August of last year. And it's a lot to do with the damage that happened to me while I was trafficked. And people don't realize how much a toll that takes on one's body, especially as a woman. And it makes you feel like less of a woman because you can't carry a child, but you know it's not your fault, but you still blame yourself because you put yourself in the position where you were trafficked and you're just not able to have kids. So it's one of those things where there are always ups and downs. There's always trials and tribulations. And even now, like just in January, I became completely independent. So I no longer get any housing assistance, no type of social security. I don't get any type of food stamps, any help at all. Everything is completely on me. And this is the first time in 10 years that I've actually, had everything that was on me financially. So it's hard, you know, thinking that like, this is what my life is now. Like now I have to be a grown up. There's nothing I can fall back on. But at the same time, I'm proud of myself for getting to this point because I thought I would never get to a point where, nobody is constantly in my business because my business is mine now. And I'm taking care of myself enough for them to, say, she can do it. And then in November of this year, I will be done with case management. I will no longer need a case manager. So I've actually taken these past 4 years living in this apartment to get myself to a point where I can be independent and continue to be independent financially, and not only financially, but mentally as well. And I've been going to therapy. I've stopped therapy many, many times, but this time after losing my last son, therapy has really taught me that even though you're doing good, just continue with the process. Never give up on the process and never give up on, yourself because yeah, you're going to be doing good at one point, but don't stop. Don't stop. Like just keep going because one day you're going to break down and you're not going to have anything. And then you're going to fall back into that pattern because I have many, many times. That's why it took me 10 years to get to this point. So for anybody that, is still struggling and, you know, they're still being trafficked, just know there's another side to this, no matter how old you are. Like I will be 30 years old this year, and this happened when I was 18. So it doesn't matter how old you are, like you will eventually get to a point where you can say, I'm independent, and you're no longer a victim, you're actually a survivor. So yeah.